There were a host of terrible comic books to choose from this week. In fact, when I did my best comic books of the week, we couldn't recommend any DC comics. And we already talked about the Marvel comic that it would have been in our worst of the week, 10 Lives of Death of Wolverine, a couple of days ago here on the channel. So we're going to hit 2 comic books from DC. It was cringe week at DC Comics, and I put Doc through hell. And just remember, be gentle to us. We're doing this for you guys. We are eating all these terrible stories so you don't have to. How you doing, Doc?
I hate you. I hate you so much. Every week, you made me read a Tom Taylor comic.
Again,
yes.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So we did Superman, Son of Kal number 7, and then Green Lantern number 10. Let's talk about Superman, Son of Kal number 7, which I don't think is the worst comic book this week. I think Green Lantern is actually worse. We definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. We got Tom Taylor, John Timms once again on the art here. This comic book's really bad. Of course, they did adjust the cover to where it says there's no Planet B because there's infinite Planet Bs in the DC Comics universe. So at least they fixed that part. But I think, did Jon Kent join a cult this week?
I have a vague recollection of an old movie from, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago about a bunch of random kids on some off the coast of the UK making pirate radio on some old abandoned World War II naval missile submarine station thing. And that's what it felt like he joined. They think they're being punk rock and telling they're underground news or this really dumb version of Anonymous. Instead, it looks like it's just a bunch of kids wearing stupid masks typing on a computer. There's nothing. You're not joining the fucking Matrix.
John's boyfriend's superhero name. What do you think about Gossamer?
I think that is a terrible name for a terrible character. So fuck it, whatever, works.
Oh, there's some really, really, really bad dialogue in here, but we end up seeing this. There's a big monster, and it turns out it's a big crab. It looks like on the cover that it's some type of octopus, but it's actually an enormous crab. And wouldn't you know it, Doc? It's pollution. I think was it global warming and pollution that are causing this?
Deoxygenation of the water. Which is apparently a thing that happens when you have a lot of pollution in a certain area, except for they showed an area of the ocean that there was no obvious pollution. There was nothing there. It's not like there's a bunch of fucking trash buried at the bottom. Nothing. Because normally the oxygen ends up used up in the biodegrading process and takes it out of the water stream, and then you end up replacing it with a lot of methane or carbon or whatever. How many
disposable masks do you think are going to contribute to that?
A lot.
There's probably 15 billion of them in the ocean right now.
Yeah, there's probably about 50 billion of them. Everybody's gone through at least 7. No, fuck that. We're screwed. The whole goddamn planet's going to turn into one giant fucking mask. It's just going to be one giant ball of mask.
We're going to have a big crab come up and try to stop it. There's some really stupid stuff in here. We do get President,
Henry Bendix. Henry Bendix, another Wildstorm character, used poorly. The villains.
Doc, before we get there,
okay,
we got to talk about this moment where the crab is coming, and apparently it's a bad idea that we've killed off these fish and everything. So, what does Jon Kent decide is the best way to stop this crab? To kill off more fish. He just freezes the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there going how in the world do you think this is a good plan? You're actually making it work. You know what happens when you freeze the ocean, right?
What
the Tom Taylor, if you're going for some weird environmental message here, you're fucking it up hard.
Yeah, Jon Kent is a fish murderer. He kills so much marine wildlife, it's not even funny.
Exactly.
There was a lot of water he froze.
Yes, there was a lot of water he froze. Like, I mean, and then you had fucking Aqua Boy or whatever the shit his name is.
Jackson Hyde. I think it's Aquaman.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Aquaman soon.
He's apparently he can't talk to fish. So I don't know what his deal is then. Like why he's important. You suck then. You're useless. And of the water,
whatever,
I'm like,
Doc. We've already said we got to talk about Bendix. You said he's a Wildstorm character. We get the Gamora Corps that comes in to save the day, who's apparently working with Lex Luthor. Whatever.
Yeah. Look, Gamora, the fictional nation of Gamora, also a Wildstorm creation. Henry Bendix, Wildstorm creation. I guess one of the characters, the only one that got named in this book, which was Sparks, that has electrical powers, I guess is an homage to Jenny Sparks, also from Wildstorm, that was also brought on by Bendix to Stormwatch, that became the Authority. And Jenny's the one that killed Henry Bendix back in Wildstorm. So this is Tom Taylor, I guess, his like little in joke of, I'm going to have Henry Bendix not let this Sparks character move so that he could get killed by the crab thing. Yay. Look, nobody has figured out how to write Henry Bendix. There's only two people that have ever written Henry Bendix well. And neither of them are going to be working for DC anytime soon. One is Warren Ellis and the other is Ed Brubaker. Those are the only two. Everyone else has failed miserably at it. So
you weren't impressed with Tom Taylor's take on the Wildstorm universe?
No. You know what? I wasn't, honest to God, I wasn't impressed with Tom Taylor's take on Wildstorm when he was actually writing for Wildstorm before they closed that, the division down. When they still had it as a separate universe, pre-New 52.
That was a piece of mercy, Doc.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? He's dragging up their corpses just to defile them further. No, this
comic book sucks. Jon Kent joins. I think he joins a cult. Doc thinks he joins a merry band of pirates. I'm not really sure, but he killed a lot of fish because he was upset the fish were killed. Let's get into a worse comic book.
Yep.
Green Lantern number 10, Geoff Thorne, Marco Santucci, who's been on the book for a while, but this time we get Chris Cross on art, which I do think is an enormous upgrade over Tom Rainey, who somehow is still credited on the fucking cover because it's DC Comics. You got a bunch of morons there. Geoff Thorne's Green Lantern has been one of the most blatant bait and switch comic books I've ever seen. In my time of reading comic books, I've absolutely hated this thing. I dropped off, I think in issue 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly where, but I haven't been reading this damn thing because it was such a bait and switch. It pissed me off, but we had to get in here, talk about this damn thing, and I think we picked the right one to come in here because this thing is a fucking mess. This thing is impenetrable if you have not been reading the series. It's impenetrable if you don't know much about DC Comics. I think if you just know about the Green Lantern Corps and not every piece of history about it, this is also impenetrable. This thing is damn near unreadable.
I thought it was unreadable. I mean, I readily admit I'm not the biggest DC guy. I have never been a huge Green Lantern guy. I mean, I like the character. I know the general, I know the gist of, the Green Lantern with the ring and the power core, or like the power battery and Oa and the Guardians. I get that stuff. But this was Geoff Thorne trying to be Grant Morrison and fucking failing miserably at it.
Well, there's two stories in here. There's been this the whole time. There's the story with John Stewart, who's been like outcast when basically all the Green Lanterns were sent to the far reaches of space, and then all their rings were depowered. And then there's the story on Oa, where JoJo Mullen's fine ass is in charge and leading the Green Lantern Corps. We'll talk about the first story first. This one I think is a little bit easier to understand. It is there's some type of god wind or god storm. And Jon Stewart needs to take the power, and when he does that, there are like different possibilities of his future. They call it his future state. He could be like parallax, or he could be this or that and that, and he's seeing visions of what he could become, and he has to choose how he's going to use the power. At least that's how I understood it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I mean, I got that part, but like the weird thing with being on another world and people coming back to life.
That's the parallax part, when he was dreaming about being parallax.
Okay, so
he's going to bring his wife back.
He starts as like weird god emperor guy that everybody
Lord Perfect?
Yeah, Lord Perfect or something like that. And then he gets like apparently brain poked by somebody. So I'm thinking, was he actually that thing, or was
no? These are dreams of what his future is going to be. He has to choose one of them.
All right, so now it's making a little more sense. I thought that he started off as Lord Perfect, and then he got like, I don't know, like brain whammied. And then he started dreaming, and apparently the Lord Perfect thing with him already dreaming, but me as an idiot coming into this book and having not read it to this point thought like, what the fuck is going on? This weird guy with long hair did touch him.
Yeah, that story was more penetrable than the next one. Let's get to the JoJo Mullins fight ass story on Oa. We know the central power battery has been destroyed. There are no Green Lanterns with power rings other than Teen Lantern, because she stole her gauntlet. There's JoJo, who's got her power ring, but apparently that was like a backup plan. And I think maybe Hal has a power ring, but every other Later doesn't have a power ring. But it's a good thing, because they live in the Matrix universe, Doc, and now they all have mech suits. Where the fuck these came from, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, wait, now they got mech suits that are powered by the rings that don't have any power?
There's no central power battery.
I know.
Rings are just mech suits.
Yeah, they're just mech suits, but
why
then
would they have those on Oa if they had the rings?
I don't know. Was that like for the next gen? Were you ready to issue the next model?
Oh, no, that part was stupid.
Yeah, like especially
apparently. So they cast out the Guardians of Oa, and we thought they were dead. We saw them; they were dead. But apparently they were under some type of spell, and they have returned to help out. Apparently it was all part of a plan. And then JoJo was sent off to the far sector originally because this other character, I can't remember her name, she's one of the Guardians. She created a rogue ring that wasn't tied to the central power battery and put it on JoJo as a backup plan and sent her fine ass off to far sector. Hal Jordan has already constructed his own power ring from pure will. That's why his ring still works apparently. And then Teen Lantern, obviously, she has the gauntlet. I think she might be incapacitated or in a coma right now. They didn't show that part. And then all of a sudden, what I don't remember the whatever the planet.
Yeah, the Oa, the guy,
the Hawk Slayer guy.
Yeah.
He United Planets Corps guys show up to back them up, and then all of a sudden, Hal Jordan apparently has been talking, at least to JoJo's fine ass the whole time. We didn't know this, and he shows up with the Justice League as they fight this enormous. I think it's
a Guardian that
it's a Guardian that's been corrupted. That's evil.
Yeah, it's a Guardian that got giant, turned into a power battery, and then got I don't know, some like fucking.
What did it grow on its head? Is that a mushroom or is that a forest?
It's like a mushroom animal thing.
Mushroom.
Well, it's like a squid. It's like a squid on its head.
It looked really stupid.
Wait, what was that? The thing from Futurama's, those like not Starro things that were kind of like Starro that would like land on people's head and eat their brains, but also control them.
I don't really watch cartoons as an adult.
Okay, whatever that thing was from that's basically what this looked like. It was just kind of this is so fucking random though. Like none of this stuff makes sense. I read up a little bit before getting to it so I would know what was happening, and that did not help. Like I said, this story is impenetrable. I kept feeling like I was like I missed pages. It was just jumping around.
This is the worst written Green Lantern issue I've ever read.
This is terrible.
And I've read a lot of fucking Green Lantern. That's like my favorite DC hero.
like I know Perch is friendly with Geoff Thorne, but Jesus Christ, this fucking sucks. He sucks. This is exactly what I expected from him whenever I heard he was coming on. So, yeah, it sucks.
Really? I didn't think it could be this bad.
Oh, I knew that it was just going to be a random assortment of fucking nothingness.
I would have preferred the nothing from the never-ending story to this bullshit. Like, I get the first story. Okay, he's seeing what he could be, and he has to choose his future state. Guess what's going to happen? He's going to choose to
he's going to choose
not
to be
use
perfect.
the power and destroy the battery somehow and save everybody.
Yeah, and God Storm and Splinter Time and Hyper Time and sorry, dude, you are not Grant Morrison, and even he bores the shit out of me with this stuff.
I did like the Chris Koss art because he replaced Tom Rainey. It looked better. It's kind of in that style, but much better. But the Marco Santucci art still doesn't look good. Do not read this comic book. This thing is fucking it's not as bad as Newbie and the Amazons, but it's pretty fucking close. Like, this is unreadable garbage. This is rough.
This makes about as much sense, continuity wise and plot wise as X Lives of Wolverine. So none.
I think X Lives of Wolverine's way better than this.
I think they're on par.
I think this was way more confusing. That's just my thoughts. There were some bad comic books. It was DC cringe week. We covered as much as we could. We got Newbie the Amazons. We got Superman, Son of Kal. We got Green Lantern. I caught fucking Catwoman. That was awful. Hopefully next week will be better. So double feature DC because it was so bad. I do appreciate you showed up, Doc, and taking another one for the team because this was rough.
Yeah. Tom Taylor sucks. So does Geoff Thorne.
If you are looking for comic books to actually read, there's nothing I can do for you really for DC this week. But we did do a video yesterday about all the comic books that you should read. We had multiple indie comics, multiple Marvel comics. Do not read DC this week, and go check out this video if you want something worth your time and money.